I want to get to another story that we have been following for more than a month now. A suspect arrested in the deadly shooting of rapper Takeoff last month in Houston. It did happen at the start of the month. Houston's police chief saying that they have made an arrest of a 33-year-old man charged there in Takeoff's murder, arrested Thursday evening. I want to bring in Fox 5 New York's Lissette Nunez to talk a bit more about this investigation. And this has been a big story that people across the country are following very closely.
Absolutely. Good morning, Josh. People have been waiting for an update. As we know, Takeoff was extremely loved not only by the hip hop community, but also the entertainment community. And finally, we received that update from Houston police. We have learned that Takeoff was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Houston police calling him an innocent bystander. As mentioned, they have arrested a 33-year-old man. His name is Patrick Xavier Clark. He was charged with murder. Authorities say he was the man who they believe pulled the trigger the night on November 1st outside a downtown Houston bowling alley. Now, as we know, Takeoff was the youngest member of the trio group Migos, and he was attending a private party at the bowling alley when a dispute erupted over a game of dice. Now, the police sergeant says there were about 40 people outside when the shooting took place. Investigators say they used both cell phone and surveillance video. And they also had to use shooting reconstruction in order to link the suspect to the killing. So here is the latest on the investigation.
The event was a private party. There was a lucrative dice game that went on at the event. There was an argument that happened afterwards outside the bowling alley, which led to the shooting. I can tell you that Takeoff was not involved in playing in the dice game. He was not involved in the argument that happened outside. He was not armed. He was an innocent bystander.
And that's a lot of what we've heard, is that he was really just an innocent bystander. I know that morning people were trying to figure out what had happened, and when they later found out that Takeoff was the victim of that murder, they said he's the quietest member of Migos. This is not something that he would be involved in. And you did see fans all over the country. We're talking Atlanta, as well as over there in Houston and in New York, who were just holding vigils and so upset about this happening.
Yeah, this definitely really hit the community, the hip hop community and his fan base really, really hard. As you mentioned, since the beginning, Houston police had stated that they had no belief that Takeoff was involved in any criminal activity. Everyone has spoken extremely highly of him, saying that he was calm, extremely peaceful. So this took people by surprise. So we hope that, this latest news hopefully gives, his family, we also know Quavo, also relatives of him, just gives them some kind of peace of mind that someone has been arrested in this shooting death.
Yeah, I know there were a lot of questions about whether there would ever be an arrest, because I'm sure you saw there was so much surveillance video that was going around. TMZ actually providing a lot of that, where you could see everything that went on. And this was essentially, as far as I know, just kind of a dice game where Takeoff was, as you said, in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and we heard the sergeant there mention that Takeoff had absolutely nothing to do with the dice game there. So I think that also just proving to the fact that he really was there at the wrong place at the wrong time. We also heard the sergeant mention that there were about at least 40 people gathering there, whether that was for the private event or, doing anything else. But the sergeant also mentioned they had a hard time getting people to cooperate with this investigation and state what they saw or witnessed during this shooting. But it was ultimately a lot of surveillance footage, cell phone footage, and they had to reconstruct the shooting to figure out who exactly may have pulled the trigger. Now, I also want to mention that there was a second arrest. This 22-year-old, his name Cameron Joshua. Police say that he was also arrested, but this had to do because he was charged with having an illegal gun at that time. So that they don't believe he was a triggerman at all, but he was also arrested there.
All right, an active investigation, and I'm sure we will learn more in the coming days. Thank you so much, Lissette Nunez there with Fox 5 New York.
Thank you.